Good afternoon, as it is here. This week we've got something a bit different for you because this week we are going to London, which is not a place that Bex and I are mad keen on, but it's Bex's son's birthday and he wants to go, so off we are going. So De Niro and I are driving down from Manchester in Daisy, but Bex, because she's posh, is flying down from Edinburgh and we're going to meet her down there, so we are on the road. But on the way down I have stopped off at Burger King. Sorry. De Niro has found out that he likes chicken nuggets. He'd also quite like some chicken burger, but this is mine, my dinner. And after battling through the traffic of London, we have found somewhere to stealth park. There's Daisy over there, incognito, at the side of the road. But we were parked and it looked somewhere nice and quiet, so I'm sure we would have a very, very peaceful night, as we often do when we're away in Daisy. Well, that was an interesting night. It sounded like there was some sort of Caribbean street party happening outside the van till about 2 o'clock this morning. I don't think it actually was a street party, I think it was just people talking, but yeah, loud. So we have moved Daisy to somewhere where I can park for £1.50 an hour, which for London isn't bad. And I've got a few hours till Bex arrives, so oh, I wonder if there's anything round here to see. Oh, a cemetery park. I had no idea. I did actually. This is not the nicest part of London. Apparently it's the poorest borough in London, which makes it still probably more expensive than any part of Methil. Probably about 20 times as expensive as any part of Methil. Right, let's go and see what we can see. I'm really looking forward to this one. In London back in the day, all the bodies were buried by the local parishes, so there's lots of small churches and lots of small graveyards, but they were very unhygienic. They were very, very unpopular unless you were a rat. So the London Corporation, or London Council, decided that that wasn't a very good way to proceed. So what they did was they had 7 large graveyards set up, and these are called the Magnificent 7 apparently, and I am going to wander about and try and find where the actual cemetery was without walking in front of anybody, sorry. I do hope I'm heading in the right direction because I can't actually see anything that looks like a graveyard. It's a lovely park, as you can see behind me, but yeah, not much in the way of graveyards. This may not be a graveyard explore, it may just be a walk in the park. Here's a sign down there, let's go and look at the sign. I was just beginning to wonder if I was in the right place, and then in the trees over there are some tombstones, so I think we're in the right place. Either that or it's a secret burial ground there that nobody knows about. The first burial here was in 1841, and since then there have been almost 250,000, so yeah, it was all going to get cleared and the headstones were going to get removed, but there was a massive outcry, so they decided to leave it like this, which I think looks much nicer. Bex is missing out on all this. She'll be absolutely gutted. I'll maybe bring her down later on. There's a lot more of those tiny little gravestones. Beloved child, yes, could that be children's graves? Who departed no. That guy behind was 79. He's not a child, although that's not to say that he didn't behave like one. I've left De Niro back in Daisy in the car park. I should have brought him, he would have absolutely loved this. I bet there are a million nice smells here, or interesting smells. I'm not saying what he smells is always nice, but to him it's always interesting. And there's one of those wee signs. That monument is apparently unstable. I wonder who goes round and checks, because I bet quite a lot of these are fairly unstable. I am loving this place. I hope you guys are too. I hope the pictures are doing it some sort of justice, because it's like nothing I've ever seen before. Bex just messaged me from the airport saying, what are you up to? Oh, nothing to see here. I don't want to bore all you shoestring fans with too much graveyard, but if you are enjoying this, go and check out Places for the Past. That's our other channel, and it's just extended cuts of all the graveyards that we visit, and a lot more graveyards that we visit. So it's yeah, there's a lot of graveyards. Oh wow, look at this one. That is a lot of lead on that. Anna Maria, daughter of Michael and Francis Muhm. That's M-U-H-M, unusual surname. In loving memory of Ellen Muhm, the beloved wife of Frederick Francis Muhm, who passed away in 1927. This side will be Gertrude, youngest daughter. Alright, so the whole family is in there. I wonder if they were mummified. No, okay, sorry. I keep trying to film the squirrels for no reason other than the fact that I quite like squirrels, but they've got. De Niro likes them more. He would be up that tree trying to chase it. It's about 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning and I am walking about an old graveyard. You know where Bex is? 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning, you know where she is? She's in Wetherspoons at the airport. If you'd like to support our wee adventures, and why wouldn't you, We've got a Ko-fi page where you can buy De Niro a biscuit, and we've also got a Patreon thing where you can actually subscribe and make a donation on a monthly basis, in return for which you get some fascinating additional content, mostly what we're up to when we're not doing this and things that go wrong, and the occasional full-length episode that's not really suitable for the main channel. When we do foreign things or we do things from England, people tend not to watch them as much, so sometimes we just do them for the fun of it and then put them on Patreon. I think we are heading out of the graveyard bit because there's no gravestones, which is a bit of a clue that you're not in a graveyard. Lots of stones hiding in the trees over there, watching us like something from some sort of apocalyptic zombie film, zombie tombstones. But sorry, that was nonsense. I'm just gibbering now because there's nothing up here to talk about. Yeah, nothing up there. Let us get back among the dead. Even if you took away all the gravestones, this would still be a nice park to come in, but I suppose the gravestones are the reason that it survived. I mean, it's a burial ground, so they couldn't build on it, although in London I'm sure they probably tried. This is such a pretty place. I have got to bring Bex here. She doesn't quite share my obsession with graveyards, but she does like a nice graveyard. Not quite as much as I do, obviously, but yeah, bring her back here. I'll take her out for a run and not tell her where we're going, and we'll just happen to end up here. That sounds like a plan. Wandering aimlessly is all well and good. Be interesting to see the sort of map track of my route here and see how much of this place I've actually missed, because I don't think I've seen it all. Right, I've got to stop seeing new vistas and new views. I've got to get going because there's lots more to see in London than this. Bex will be arriving sometime this afternoon, so I want to get another cemetery squeezed in before, another bit of sightseeing squeezed in before then. And if that sightseeing just happens to be where there are gravestones, then so be it. Well, that's 5.5 kilometres. That's not bad for walking about in a graveyard. I know I said I couldn't get lost, but I think I've just gone round in a massive circle, so I have to find a map and find out how to get out of here because, yeah, I don't want to end up stuck in a graveyard forever. I think I'm heading in the right direction now. If not, I might have to get Bex to come and find me when she arrives. That would make me popular. Bex, I'm in a graveyard, but I'm a bit lost. How can you get lost in a graveyard? Well, wait till you see the graveyard. That's enough of graveyards for the moment. I have travelled down to our wonderful travel lodge in the Docklands, London Docklands, which is quite famous. It's also, as you can see, quite wet. So I'm waiting for Bex to arrive. She's not going to be happy when she gets here and finds out we can't get into the hotel room until 3 o'clock. So there might be a bit of sitting about in here to be done first. De Niro doesn't mind. He's using the time to have a bath. Bex and her boy made it eventually, so after a decent night's sleep, bright and early, we were up the next day to go for a wee explore. The phrase unrecognisable to the people that used to live here would be particularly true of Docklands, because there's still the odd old building, like the shipbuilding there and the whale oil place behind it. But look over there, that is all financial and housing. And over there's a lot more housing, and over there's a lot more housing, and guess what? Yeah, there's lots and lots of houses. It's not a place I would like to live, and Bex has got a really excited going on a cable car face on. It looks like every other really excited face she's got, to be fair. Let's see your cable car face, Bex. Woo. At least the weather is a wee bit better than it was yesterday. And for the full tourist effect, we had to take some pictures of the duck boy hybrid statue thing floating out there on that wee pontoon. Maybe the ducks worship him as a god. So off the cable car into the underground train, off the underground train into the middle of London. Lots of cheap and small houses in the area where we have emerged. This is that's the Tanzanian High Commission back there. I don't know what this thing in front of us is, but it's like a palace. There's a big queue of people waiting to get into the Disney store. No idea why. Anyway, we are going to go down this way because Kieran wants to go to a museum of musical instruments, which is fascinating. Honestly, you'll love it. It's a violin, it's another violin, it's a slightly different violin, it's an older violin. Oh, it's a harpsichord. There's a really cool piano shop, but Bex says I'm not allowed to do the pianist envy joke again, so I'm not going to. There are some quite quirky little buildings in London. I guess people bought a plot of land and built their house, and then the person next to them would build something different, so no two are the same. It's quite nice, and yeah, I just like it. I like the architecture, I must admit. It's just some of the people I'm not so keen on. Oh, I needed some rosettes. There is a rosette shop. Let's go and buy some rosettes. Or actually, let's not. We're going to keep going up Marylebone Lane, which is taking us in the direction we want to go. There's a really nice pub on that corner called the Marylebone, and it's a purveyor of the finest liquor, and it's been there, according to the thing at the top, since 1863, so that survived 2 world wars, the Zeppelins and the Hinkles of the Second World War. Oh, and on the next corner there's another old pub. That is the Old Rising Sun from 1866, so yeah, quite a lot of history still here, and quite a lot of really modern, horrible buildings a bit further back, but there's no point showing you those because they're not very pleasant. I did an emergency stop, and now the people who are heading for the museum are wondering what I'm doing, but yeah, this is an old garden of rest where the gravestones have been put round the edge, and it's now a nice wee place for a sit. I might come back here a bit later on and do some reading whilst Kieran is in the Musical Instrument Museum. And the reason that I stopped walking along the road is I saw that. And that says this monument was erected by the Methodist Conference to replace a stone originally covering this grave, which has decayed as a token of their reverence and respect in memory of the Reverend Charles Wesley M.A., brother of John Wesley M.A. We are in the Music Museum, which looks a bit posh for the likes of us. So they sent us down to the basement first, so Bex can sort herself out and put on a ball gown, and I've got to put on a tuxedo and tails before we're allowed to go and look at all the violins. Oh wow, these busts used to be around Queen's Hall, which was destroyed by the Germans in 1941, and these are the only bits of the Queen's Hall that have survived. That is Beethoven, the rest of them, no idea. You do go on a fairly convoluted route. You go down to the basement and then back up. Hopefully it will actually be somewhere interesting soon, but don't hold your breath. Oh, string gallery and a piano gallery. Oh, this is going to be another fast forward for another really interesting flight of historic stairs. I think these probably date back to 1980 or something. They're a lovely shade. I'm just wittering now past time. Let's go and look at the strings gallery. This will be riveting. Excuse me mate, what's your favourite string? That's clearly to stop you filming anything too exciting. Or possibly to stop you taking the mickey out of phrases like exemplary purfling. I did look at that violin and thought, yeah, that purfling looks exemplary, and Bex was just blown away by the purfling. It's just purfle-tastic. Well, that was the Royal Academy of Music Museum, and that is an hour of my life that I'm never getting back. Fortunately, it wasn't very big, so it was only an hour. There are some amazing buildings in here. Judging by the car park outside, that is like accommodation. I bet there's not a place in there that costs less than, well, millions. It's another underground. This is quite a historic station compared to the first one that we saw. It's quite cool. It's all tiles and nice and not quite as busy. That is the Natural History Museum, which is quite cool. You also need a ticket to get in, although it is free. But if you don't have a ticket, you're not getting in. So we'll book tickets and we'll be back tomorrow, because there's no tickets available for today, apparently. The people down here do really like their car horns. Lots and lots of people who shouldn't really be out on their own. We are going to have a look at the Victoria and Albert Museum, which is also very impressive, and something in which I don't think I could be any less interested. I wanted to go to the Imperial War Museum, but I was outvoted. So there is the dome of the V&A, which is very, very grand. That's quite nice up there as well. Kieran has gone off to walk around and look at things. His mother and I have seen a sign up there that says cafe, so we are going to the cafe. Why do museums these days allocate more space to their shop than they do to their collections? This is obviously the Japanese section, and lots of nice samurai armour. Lots and lots of statues of things in here. I do like the way this is laid out. It's very sort of light, and that's obviously been nicked from somewhere else. Everything here has probably been nicked from somewhere. I mean, bought by the High Chancellor or the High whatever for whatever country they were in where it's been stolen from. That's a Valaspina family member's tombstone, and that's another Valaspina family member sort of memorial that was in a church. That church has probably now got a big hole in the wall where that used to be. There are some really impressive artworks in here, some sort of stained glass window type things around the side. They are real actually, because they've got exhibit numbers beneath them, so let's go and have a wee look. And this is the crucifixion from 1525, and this window was taken from the cloisters of the Cistercian Abbey at Altenburg. So yeah, that's also been removed from somewhere else. That guy there, that is St Peter, obviously, and if you're wondering how to know that, I'm reading it on that side. There is St George and the dragon. Poor old dragon always gets really bad press, just having a nice quiet life, and then that gimp comes along and stabs it through the head. So this is a Victorian throwback. This is what this place would have looked like back in the Victorian days, and these are actually all copies. They're all casts of things made in plaster, which is really smart because it doesn't involve stealing the originals from wherever they might be. Even Bex is quite impressed, and we still haven't found the coffee shop yet, so yeah, very nice, very nice, very nice, but no coffee.
I wouldn't like to see the size of the roll plugs to hold that up.
Yeah, if that was like me putting up shelves, I would I don't think I'd ever trust it not to fall down. And look up there, there's some more castings too high up to even see. They're just crammed in this place. It's a really, actually, I take back what I said on the way in. I am quite enjoying this. This is another one, they call it the cast courts, but it's it is really cool. And there is a Williff, and there's a big Celtic cross type. Oh, I wonder where that's from. That is really smart. This is, yeah, okay, I take it all back. This is actually quite interesting. That is a high cross, and it is from blah 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 Dublin. There you go. So it's Celtic, I was right. So over here we've got more copies of crosses, and that, I can't imagine how you would make a copy of that. I think that is Trajan's Pillar, which tells the story of Trajan and the Dacian War and the Romans and stuff. But how do you copy something that size? And as well as that bit of it, they've got another big chunk of it over there. It's this is quite interesting. I hope you are quite enjoying this. Don't worry, there'll not be too much of this stuff. There'll be more of us walking about Wittering coming up soon. This is a cast of Christ moving his cross. Not sure what that lady in there's doing with her little thing, but look at the look on that guy at the back's face. He's got a sore puss, as we would say. Now, I'm usually not keen on copies. I like to see originals, but yeah, these are quite impressive, and they let you get a lot closer than you ever could to the originals. It must be hard being a dragon. You're just out having a nice day, and then old St George comes along and puts us. It's always through the head as well. Poor old dragon. These days he would have been arrested for damaging an endangered species. I mean, dragons have rights too, you know. Oh, some scary monsters. There's a bull, and there's a griffin, and there's Bex. It would have been funny if she's still facing this way, and yeah, cool. Bex wanted a scone until she found out they are £5.50 for a scone.
Wanting a scone, or are you wanting something else?
They are quite nice looking scones, to be fair, but yeah.
Do you want half a scone?
No, a whole scone. Even in the heart of London, Bex has found the scones. These are fruit scones infused with Earl Grey tea, so they could go one of two ways. Yeah, so the V&A actually scored higher marks than I thought it would as a place to visit, as did its scones, which were 10 out of 10. It's an underground, no, it's an overground. We are on the Docklands light railway, and I don't know if you can hear me, but yeah, I'm talking to myself, and people are probably, actually it's London, nobody's probably going to care. So there's the back end of some nice houses, and we are heading back into the Docklands, which is where we started off this morning. Seems like about 4 days ago. The DLR is pretty cool. When I was younger, I used to love it. It's a bit sort of ethereal because there is no driver. It's all done by computers and ding. Again, there's an interesting mix of old buildings that are pre-war and post-war buildings, because this place, as I may have mentioned, was flattened by the Germans during the Second World War. I wonder what architect designed that grey thing over there that's up on legs. Not the same man designed anything else. Everything here is very different to everything else. We have crossed a couple of little canals with houseboats on them. I don't know how much a houseboat down here costs compared to a proper house. Because I'm very slow with the camera, I haven't actually managed to film either of them, so you'll have to take my word for it. They keep getting little glimpses of quite nice buildings. We'll probably never ever find out what that one over there is, but it is quite nice. And that one, as I keep saying, isn't. Next stop. That's quite cool. That's like the back of a sort of almost like a manor house, and yeah, there are some nice bits here. Look at that. Whoa. Might have to come here for a wee walk later. This is our stop, I think. Yep, this is East India. We're getting off here. If Bex and Kieran manage to remember to get off. If not, they're going somewhere else. Back at base. Time to go and explore the local area and forage for food. I bet back in the day there was lots of men that sat here playing dominoes. Probably not quite so many now.
Too many dominoes there.
Too many dominoes. Bex, you're too much of a domino purist. The only dominoes Caitlin knows is the pizza. Because it is the old docks, it's no surprise there's lots of canals and basins and stuff here, but well, you know what I think of Victorian engineering. This is so cool, and it's nice that it's been repurposed. There's new buildings round about it with retail units that are not yet rented out. But yeah, it's history and modernity side by side. That night I set up my camera on time-lapse to catch the sunrise in the morning. I didn't get the sunrise, but I did get something even cooler. I got the moon set.